Yeah, I think we are live.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So yeah, welcome everyone. Today is the 27th July 23, and this is the Node.js release working group meeting. And we're here to follow a small agenda. But before we start, anyone has any announcement they'd like to share?
Oh, just one thing is not in the meeting, so I'll mention here. I have a pull request for the Node for UTUs. Um, I have recently released one to fix a Git node security release. So you now, when you create a proposal for a secret release, you should be able to do that. And this pull request, the second pull request, I will send in the chat. If it opens, it's not opening. So I will send in the release. Basically, we'll add a new secret, a new release comment. This will create the next secret release issue, plus getting all the HackerOne reports triaged and put in the README, so it will automate a few things for secret releases.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, other than that, I think there was also the 18 release that went out, I think last week or the week before, which was
Yeah, I think that was, I can't even remember. Was that Wednesday or Tuesday? I don't know.
I can't remember either.
Once I was done, I just completely forgot about it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danielle. Yeah, I know it was a lot. That was a big release. Thank you. And yeah, so we can go on and start with the regular agenda here. I know the first item here is the session at the Collaborator Summit, which, yeah, I guess we can maybe start the question with who's planning to be there? Because personally, I am not going to be there this time. So I don't think I'll be planning to kind of, run that session as I did the last couple of times. So if anyone is there and want to do that, but if you just feel like not comfortable, it's also fine to just skip, I guess. But yeah, Raphael, I think you might be there, right?
I will be there, but the problem is that I will speak at the Open SSF, which is
Right.
in the same day as the Node.js Collab Summit. So if
Okay.
my talk is not in the same time of the release session, I can join. Otherwise, but I
Yeah.
think it's just me that will be there from the working group, right?
Yeah. And from my personal experience, I can tell you that it's not a great spot to be in. So I mean, I just mean to say, like, it's fine if we decide to just not have one session this time. Like, I don't think it's good to raise overall, right? Like, uh, just talk to other collaborators about the group and try to motivate more people to kind of participate and try to become a releaser. Right? I think that's always like the main goal for Collaborators Summit. But I think it's fine if we skip it once, right? Let's say, let me just look at the issue here if there's any new activity there. Yeah, but let's leave it open for a little longer to see if there is any activity. But otherwise, I think, yeah, probably not going to happen this time. Cool. So I see that the periodic table is back on the agenda here.
Oh yeah,
Rafael, I see you added the label. Do you want to maybe?
yeah. It's just because I've mentioned, I think in the release private channel, that might be good to take a look on that, considering that we haven't selected the new major releaser. We received the notification on Slack 6 months prior to the release itself, but no one volunteered. and I'm afraid that I will lose some hair to do the next one. So and anyway, I think would be great considering that L20 will be LTS soon. I think we have already a name for 20, right?
Yeah, I think we've got the names up to
Jod, right?
the next two, yeah, at least the next two releases, maybe three.
Okay.
But in terms of the code names, the last time we basically, as a group, decided we'll just PR, we'll just PR what looks like the most likely suggestions, and have it
Okay.
that way, rather than if we just keep discussing it in the issue, it will never get closed out because
Yeah.
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
favorites.
So
And I think the only issue then is
Sorry.
when you run into the ones that don't have.
So basically, we will have only we are only accepting suggestions for Node 22, right?
I can't remember. There's a document in the release repo. There's like a code names. Oh, there we go. So we've got 22 decided. So that's the file at the moment. So we just PR'd a change to that. So Node 20 will be iron.
Okay.
Node 22 is planned to be Jod. That was, we had a whole discussion in that issue about what to do with J.
Okay.
no
That will be
immediate
only
rush.
for 2025 then.
Yeah. So there's no immediate rust, but we could easily open a pull request and just like add the next couple more.
Okay.
No, but
Okay.
yeah, but I think you have a great point here, Rafael. Like, yeah, but I think we just need to refer to a different issue, but we need to find who's the.
Yeah, I will remove the label because I thought we didn't have a name for 20. So I will
No,
remove it.
we normally try to make sure that we have a name for the release, for the long-term release, before we actually release the current version, the .0 version of that, because I think some of the marketing material does sort of say this is version, let's say 22, for example, and it will be LTS in October and it will have the code name whatever when it becomes long-term support. So we try and have that all decided before that release, goes GA 0.0, even though the LTS isn't not until 6 months later.
All right. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, there is still an open discussion for the next major releaser, right? And the one to do the migration to LTS. But the LTS is pretty simple, if I remember.
It should be. There's even a Node core utils release.
Yeah, it start LTS, I guess.
Assuming we haven't changed the formatting so greatly on the changelog that it can't find the things to update. But yeah, I mean, it should be more or less automated. We also have that policy that the LTS transition doesn't actually contain changes. So it is literally a flip of the flag in the version header. So the automation should take care of that and reformatting the change logs to add a new column for the LTS release. So in theory, that LTS transition release shouldn't be a lot of work. But yeah, the present thing is the major. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so I put a note here, but we should probably also be reminding ourselves in the.
Yeah, I mean, if no one takes it, I will take it. But I mean, at least if we have more releasers, we can pair. I can pair with either Ulysses or other new releaser. So eventually, 2022 can be a different one. But yeah, anyway.
I think we. Which one was it? One of the releases there was a pairing. not the
It
last one.
was
I think you did the last one on your own. Didn't you?
19 with I did the pair with Hui.
Yeah, true. That was good.
And that's probably a better position to be in, just in case something
Mhm.
unexpected happens with the person who's
Yeah.
wanted that. We're not then scrabbling around again for. So maybe that's something we can try and aim for. But yeah, we need to
Yeah,
try and.
I have. By the way, I have opened an issue when performing the Node.js 20 release about highlight notable changes in a TSC meeting. I sent in the chat. I don't know exactly what action should we take for it. Actually, there is the release agenda label, but it was not tracked because I think the air is not capitalized, right?
That sounds like an obvious bug if it's true. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting that it's not made it onto the agenda. Okay. Yeah, if it's a capitalization, maybe we should just need to change the label in the TSC repo to have the correct.
Yeah, we need to do that because there is another issue, how to handle experimental status when adoption is significant. I remember that issue, but I don't remember we have discussed it.
I think it was discussed in the TSC meeting, but I don't think we've discussed it in the release. And I can't remember what the outcome of the discussion was.
So what do you guys think about this issue itself? Like, should we highlight it in a TSC meeting or let run it in the same way we do regularly? The only problem is we work. We as a releaser, we normally think that that changelog is good, but when we open the pull request, run all the CI, everything is green. Someone suggests to change or to include, to remove. So I thought that in case of major release, would be great to have a prior definition before the meeting, or maybe follow the alphabet or any kind of sorting.
I think one thing would be to, like, the second the proposal is opened, have it on the TSC agenda just to, trigger feedback. Like, and if it's mentioned every single time in a TSC meeting, you catch your chance a bit earlier of getting the feedback rather than at the last minute. I feel like step one for that could be a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, and it might try and encourage people to get like actual release notes or highlight things that need release notes earlier than my recollection has been the changelog through, not necessarily throughout any fault of the release team, but there's always last minute editing, wordsmithing, rewriting, and it's maybe trying to get earlier visibility might, well, hopefully make that a bit easier and less. I think we would say this, that we would kind of like it to not be a last minute rush for each release, and then it always tends to have something happen.
I think there is a bit of strictness on the releases part. Like, I think in a few times, like the day before, someone's asked something to go in, and if it's not Semver Major, I think our response has been, nope, it can go into like 20.1, like in like maybe just raising the bar. If something can land, even a tiny typo fix, like it's not the end of the world. If the builds are done and they're ready to go, we can just say, look, we'll land it the second, and bundle it into the next following release. It's not, maybe we can try and raise the bar for what lands in the day before and push things along to the 0.1 release. But I think we got bad, like Raphael you got stung with some unfortunate timing this time that maybe hopefully wouldn't repeat as bad this time, because some big PRs only got finished at the last minute.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
kind of feel though that it's happened more than once for partial releases. So yeah.
Okay. So I think we can move forward. I will comment on that issue mentioning that instead of do a TSC meeting specifically for that, we will just include the TSC label, so it will be mentioned in the meetings. So as a reminder, I don't know, prior one month or once the change log is done, or we have a draft or something, and remove the label.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I think I'm for Beth's initial suggestion about as soon as we open the release proposal, just get the label on the release proposal, so that it's there on the TSC agenda that Node 21 is coming, and then in the TSC meetings, hopefully someone from the release group will be there to highlight anything that's significant that needs to be called out, or then people might take a look and ask questions about the proposal as is, and it might feed into other areas that are being talked at the TSC meeting. So, for example, if we're waiting like a V8 update or something.
Okay.
Okay, anything else to add to that topic? If not, one item I added here to the agenda, and I think we should talk about, given that Ulysses is here, right? But the onboarding, and yeah, maybe Richard or Beth, you can maybe talk a little about it, like refresh my mind how the onboarding works.
Yeah, Beth have sent the document. I was in the chat. I was reading it a few minutes ago, but basically, once all the release team approves the new releaser, an email should be sent to the TSC, and if the TSC approves, then we can proceed. So someone will mentor you in your first and the second release. And after that, basically you create a proposal, but the releaser will sign, and then your keys will be added to the server, and then you will be the releaser. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing is with the pairing, I think like how many releases you pair on is really just dependent on, how comfortable you get in terms of the steps, and you can always pair on more releases if it helps. So.
Yeah, I'm sure at least 2 or maybe more. Yeah, depends. It seems quite complex, but yeah, I hope that I can get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we are automating it. It's not that hard, and it's good because you're already on the build team. So
yeah, it's going to be helpful for debugging things. Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of the value was in some of the parent sessions where something didn't merge cleanly, or the automation didn't quite do it automatically, and then you had the discussions about, right, so what's the thought processes here, and then being able to pair and see how you would deal with, like, for example, a merge conflict, or you're looking at PR and it's not merging cleanly. Do you actually try and merge it, or do you put the label on and ask for a manual backport, that kind of thing? And it's that sort of trying to give confidence about how to deal with something unexpected during the release process, because a lot of the documentation covers the steps to take and the automation steps, but then it's more the sort of, well, if that doesn't quite work, or it's not clear.
Yeah, that's okay. Any recommendation also in like operative system or something to use as a base for releases, or anything works, like in terms of tooling and so on?
I think we've had a mixture of Linux and Mac OS, but I am not aware of anyone ever trying to lead a release by running it on Windows.
Yeah, not my case. So
yeah, that's fine.
That shouldn't be allowed.
I have no reason to believe it wouldn't work. I just also am not confident that it would without hitting some sort of problem. I do know that some people on the release team run Linux and some people run Windows. Mac OS. And as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been a complete blocker. I think there might be one or two things on macOS that are not release specific. So I think, for example, if you're running tests, I think in the past, like the macOS firewall has been an issue, and there are things somewhere that describe how to deal with that. But other than that, it should be possible.
Yeah. Sounds okay. Yeah. I can prepare a virtual machine just for this, so that will be easy for me. Okay.
All right, then. I think all of meetings, or I don't know, things that is not in the calendar was just kissed or discussed.
Sorry, I was trying to speak, but I was muted. What did you mention, Ravel?
No. I just said that I think we have discussed everything that is not in the calendar already.
Right. No, yeah, I was going to say about the onboarding too. I was going to mention how the approval process works. Like, does it need to be more formal? We need to reach out to everyone in the release team, or let's say we have enough quorum here, we can just say we approve, and someone can already send the email.
I think it's pretty much the same as when someone nominates a new TSC member, like they send the email, and once we get enough +1, I think we can move forward. And eventually that will be mentioned in the TSC meeting, a private session, and then it will be public. And I think is this process, right?
Nah, I think it's more lightweight for the release team. I think so. Yeah, see, I think, I agree.
Yeah, I will send the email now.
Yeah, we have enough people here, so that it should be good to say we all approve. But we can also send a message in the chat just for formality, right? Like, and also giving people a chance to, if anyone wants to say something, we can send a message in the private channel and like go forward from that. Yeah, but I can, I can make sure I send that email, like, and make sure that part is done. Cool. So moving on, I added another topic here that talking about the upcoming major release. I feel that we need to look into is the updating the release schedule image, right, in the repo. I know the entire world refers to that image when they want to talk about node releases. So.
Oh, the sort of bar chart thingy.
Yeah.
I want to say somewhere we wrote down how to generate that image, but I'm now a bit fuzzy as to whether that was just in an issue or whether it was actually in a document somewhere. There is a module to run called
it's in the
LTS.
repo. It's in the repo. I remember PRing it in. Just need to find it. Might be in doc or something, and guides or something.
Awesome.
But it's a module in the Node.js org that you run. You pass it the release JSON. So as long as the dates in the JSON file are correct, and then you give it a start and end date. So we usually allow a bit of time either way. And I think people have said it's nice for the table to show releases that have just gone end of life, just so that people are aware that it's actually gone end of life. But yeah, it is a cool Node module that is in the organization that you run, and it's a case of just tweaking the parameters. It's basically a start and end date and the release JSON, and then it will automatically draw the chart based on the information from the release and the start and end dates.
On that note, you've got to be very particular with the start and end dates to get the intervals rendered correctly. Because if you give it certain start and end dates, all of the month just overlap in the SVG, So it can be a bit finicky. You have to just like keep trying adding a day to see if the windows start aligning better. So be warned, it's not like it looks easy, but like sometimes you have to fiddle with it a bit to get it looking nice.
Right. So where is the? I think is this? I think Ulysses send the message, right? Like, okay, I see. Updating the schedule. Okay, let me just put that link into the minutes here so that it's easy to refer to it later. Okay. Thank you.
I think we have talked before about maybe automating it and having it update periodically, but then we have had people say that having older things on the table is useful. So I think we've sort of held off doing that and just done it manually for now. But we don't often update it. I'm not even sure we update it every release because it really depends on what's currently on there and then what needs to be added or taken away.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can probably move on then to the release scheduling part of this meeting. Let me see. Let me share my screen here. So there. Let me know if you can see my screen and
I can see that.
is it really showing release plan V20?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, we can start with this one. Yeah, I see here we are scheduled until mid-August. Oh, Rafael, it's great.
Just did it, yeah.
Awesome.
But
Great.
yeah, possibly that will be a bit delayed by other releasers.
Right. So maybe it's a good opportunity for releases to pair in one of these.
Yeah, sure. We just need to get back the TSC answer, but I think it would be on time.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So it looks like there is a available spots end of August if anyone wants to volunteer for current release. And let me move on here to 18. Which 18, if I remember correctly, yeah, I'm the next here. I'm next online here. So it's planned for August, and I think I might try to do it probably around sometime end of August. Let me see. What date, what time of the week we actually aim for? Is there a structure?
Like ages ago we'd aim for like the third Tuesday of the month or something something like that, but to be honest, whenever people have time within that month at this point I think is reasonable.
Right.
Just ideally not a Friday. That's
Yeah. No, I think a Tuesday might be a good, like at least aim for Tuesday so that last minute stuff came up, right? Like,
Yeah.
it ends up
Traditionally,
being Thursday or Wednesday, it's fine.
Yeah, normally Tuesday was the day we aimed for, but Wednesday's fine. But yeah, definitely not Friday.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I'll probably try to aim for either 22 or 29 August, something like that. Yeah.
Just for awareness, there was a question. There's an issue about one of the ICU locales that was updated in ICU 7.3.2. So someone just asked about when that would be going into Node 18. It probably should automatically show up
Right.
in the automation because it did go out in Node when the last Node 20 release. So by the time you start preparing the next 18, it should have been out in current for at least 2 weeks. So just for awareness, someone was asking when that ICU update is going to land in 18.
Okay.
Beth?
I think there was an ask in a backport PR somewhere whether we could expedite a patch release for Node 18 based on, I want to say, an URL related regression.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do we
I
know
don't.
what state the PR was in? Has that class the CIs so it can land?
The pull request is ready, if I remember, but I don't remember exactly which pull request is that. Let me find here.
Well, the question then is, does anyone have time to do a
Yeah, there is another question for now. Backport, open. Okay, there is a lot of backports. Holy. We have 11 backports.
Right.
I think is this one. Let me check. No, it's not. Well, I don't have it.
It might be that one.
Oh, is the Ada one, I guess. Yes, is the Ada one.
I think the confusion was there was like 2 or 3 competing PRs that were opened. I think this was the one they settled on. Because I think there was an original PR to like revert a different commit, and then they said should backport this one instead.
Right.
There may be another issue open about some other issue to do with something that requires a later Ada version. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I might try to open the proposal as soon as possible. Then start getting the.
that seems reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can collect feedback and we can get people start throwing in. Oh yeah, I want this and that to go in. And, yeah.
Well, okay. It is fixing just yarn install and URL parse. Okay, that seems feasible, yeah.
Okay. But other than
Sorry, just to check, in that case, are we going to hold off till your kind of like December minor release, Roy, or do aim for a expedited patch to fix the regression? Like whatever we have time for, in my opinion, but I'm just curious which route we're taking so we can respond to Antoine.
Yeah, I might try to expedite a little bit. So maybe what I can do, like maybe somewhere in the middle, I can maybe see if I can do the release mid-August rather than end of August. So maybe like around the 15th or something. Yeah, but one thing I was going to bring up here is there is no one assigned for the upcoming 18 releases. So that's also a different subject, but also kind of ties up in which like we don't have a lot of people right now available for the LTS releases. So one thing to keep in mind too. So yeah. That said, do anyone want to maybe just or have the time and want to maybe work on a just patch release that goes right now or early August? Like, do anyone wants to do that? I don't want to block anyone if you have the time to do it. Yeah. So yeah, so I'll try to see if I can just
Yeah, I think we'll it's better to do it in a regular release in the next month, like in the next
Yeah.
2 weeks, I guess, more or less. And for the next month, 18.19, we'll have another release session, and I believe that Marco will join the next one to as a participant, eventually trying to be a releaser. And yeah, we can get some help, I guess.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So if anyone wants to volunteer for a release in September, that spot is open there. So I think, yeah, anyone add anything else to this? If not, we can move on to 16.
Right. You can put my name down for a 16 release. I think there might be enough to do a release sometime in August. I need at some point to have a look and see what's been labeled. But I have an intention to do a 16 release before it goes end of life.
Okay.
So yeah, I can put my name down in there later, or you can do it now. Either way, but yeah, that will probably be August, and then that will give us time just in case we need to correct anything for September. But I'm not planning to do something in September unless it's like really desperate. So the plan is try and do a sort of wrap up final Node 16 release in August.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll not even-
potential security things notwithstanding, but in terms of like just sweeping up the regular things, like I think there's still a couple of test fixes floating around, and I probably want to update like the root certificates that are in that node release. So
Right.
it'll be stuff like that.
Okay. Great. So that brings us to the end of the agenda here. Are there any other topics people want?
Can you remember, did we discuss NPM's plan for NPM 10 in a previous meeting?
Oh,
No.
I think we did we? I don't know.
I can't
We didn't.
remember. That's the problem.
I think we didn't have the last meeting because I don't remember, or I
Yeah,
didn't join.
I'm gonna look at the
Yeah,
minutes.
it's not in the release agenda, so I will include the label.
I remember it being discussed. I just don't remember it being discussed. I can't even remember if it was discussed in an actual web conference, or whether it was like in a Slack channel, or maybe just in the GitHub issue. I don't have a particular concern other than the same things that came up the last time they tried to put do a Semver major NPM upgrade in the LTS node line, and out of that we had a whole bunch of additional checks that were going to be run, and try and have more communication as to breaking changes. I think, Roy, you did mention one or two things that might be problematic for landing in node 18. So I guess maybe for now it's probably just at the point that we should be aware of it and try and make other people aware of it, just in case there's more feedback about the plan that the NPM team have. I don't know that we've got I think it may have been someone from the TC also mentioned the fact that NPM's dates don't line up with Node's dates, in terms of, when our LTS lines are and when the NPM majors go up. But yeah, I don't know what can be done there, other than continued dialogue with the NPM team and whatever they're open to. But yeah, I guess we should make sure that's on the agenda, I guess, then, just so we're aware of it and track it through. It's going to be a non-issue for like Node 21, but for going into the LTS releases, or even Node 20, which is going to be LTS, we need to be aware of it and guide the npm team to try and have minimal breakage as far as we can ascertain ahead of time. But I think at least the initial plan they had seemed to be okay, although I think it went quite close to the LTS transition for Node 20. So it was almost right before or something. So there isn't much room for slippages on their part.
No, yeah. I think the device plan for that came out of the whole discussion for npm 9 like is okay, but I would still prefer to see like the npm releases more aligned with the or release schedule, right? So it's kind of just easier to plan, but even then there's still the issue of updating on LTS, right? But at least we have a plan for that now. At least there's an API agreed upon and like should not break, and they're running Sitcom, right? So okay, but let me add a note here in the document. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? If not, I think we'll end the meeting here. Thank everyone, and see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.